Hey, let's make a copycat Chick-fil-A sandwich. Let's go. Isn't it pretty? Ooh, tomatoes overrated. Anyways, start off with a cup of whole milk. You're gonna add a tablespoon of vinegar to that to turn into buttermilk. You wanna let it sit for 5 minutes or so after adding the vinegar so it'll thicken up. Thick is good. So, set that aside, work on your chicken. You're gonna take your chicken breast and you're gonna butterfly it. Or cut it in half, so there's top and bottom. Flip it open. Gauge the thickness. Now you're gonna beat your meat. Huh. What is he talking about? So take your mallet. You could also use a pan. You could use a rolling pin. You could use anything. You're going to beat them thin to an even consistency or even thickness. That way they cook at the same rate. I'm using the side that makes the little holes, and that way I won't have to marinate the chicken in that brine for as long. And now I'm just having fun with it. There you go. They're nice and even. Now you're going to cut those breast fillets into the size you want your sandwich pieces to be. There you go. And 1 chicken breast will make 4 sandwiches. 2 chicken breasts will make 8 sandwiches. Tough math, I know. Alright, your milk's thickened, so let's finish the brine here. So I got some bread and butter pickles. I'm going to use about a cup of the juice, or a little less than the amount of milk I had. I'm using bread and butter because I like the sweetness. So we're going to go ahead and pour that into the milk. There we go. Now we're going to give it a 1/4 teaspoon or so of dill. Dried works just fine. 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt as well. Alright, that's it. We're going to mix it around, make sure it's evenly combined. And you're good to go on the marinade or brine, whatever it's called. Now you're going to take your chicken. You could season it ahead of time, but I'm not going to. The brine will do the work for me. So you're going to lay those in there. Now once all the chicken's in, you're going to cover them so your fridge doesn't smell like dill forever, and marinade for 1 to 12 hours. Boom, just like that. Alright. Now you gotta give the buns some love, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take those out, the cheap buns with the most ingredients on the bag, spread some butter, then you're gonna add garlic powder, and I add it to all of them. Give them a little bit of love. Gonna stack provolone cheese on the lids on 2 of them, and set them aside, and I'll time the baking so they're ready with my sandwiches. For my sauce, I'm doing a 50-50 mayo Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue mix. There we go. Now for your breading, it's going to be primarily flour, some garlic powder, let's call it 1/2 teaspoon again with that. Same amount of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon. And let's just call it a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Why not? And oh, what's this? Oh, 1/2 teaspoon, sure, we'll call it that, of powdered sugar. Gotta have a little bit of sugar in there. Mix it up evenly so it's evenly combined. Bread your fillets once and then twice. No more, no less. Set them aside. There we go, we're ready to fry. Now make sure to get your oil up to temperature, and you want dirty oil. You don't want virgin oil for this. Preferably used at least 3 times. Lay the fillet away from you so it doesn't splash on you and burn. And these fillets are going to take about 4 minutes, and that oil is probably at 375, 350, 400, somewhere in there. But you want the oil hot. Now, you definitely do want to remember to pull out on time, as always. Otherwise, your chicken's going to get tough, and bad things will happen when you don't pull out on time. Alright, you might have to flip it if your oil's not that deep. Don't be afraid. Just keep an eye on it. You want it to be nice and golden brown. As you can see, the one drying Don't pat dry. You want to let them air dry on an oven rack and just let the grease drip off. There you go. Now your buns were in the oven for about, 8 minutes. Well, they haven't gone in yet, but they're going in now. See, your buns are done now. Anyways, take your sauce, apply liberally. You could obviously use Chick-fil-A real sauce, you could use ketchup, you could use mayo, you can use whatever sauce you like on your sandwich. I got some shredded lettuce. I don't like big leaves of lettuce because it pulls the sandwich apart. Then put the breasts on top of that, give it a little bit more sauce, and you gotta have some pickles on there. Top it off, and there you go. Well, that's a moneymaker.